Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Besa Perek Aleph Mishnah Bet. Here in Mishnah, we're going to speak about slaughtering animals on Yom Tov. Right, when we slaughter a haya, right, a non-domesticated animal, or a bird on any day, we have a special mitzvah which is kisui hadam. We have to cover the blood with dirt, right, with afar. There's a beracha that we say on this, right? That's a din Torah midoraita. If you slaughter a behema, right? Let's say a cow, a goat, right? That's not obligated in Kisui Adam. It's specific to a haya and an ox. Now, there's an issue. Let's say a person wants to slaughter a haya, an animal or an off on the holiday of Yom Tov, but he doesn't have dirt that's ready. You can't go ahead and dig dirt out on the holiday, right? You can't be hofer, right? What do we do? What do we do in this instance? So if he has dirt that's already designated on the side in a pile, he has it in a box or something that he designated, that's not muktzeh anymore, then you could use it. That's totally okay. Let's say he doesn't have this. What do we do? So if a person, right, I'm going to translate literally in a second, literally for a moment, and then I'm going to explain you how Harambam explains this, and it's really based off the end of the Mishnah. That's how we have to explain it. If a person hashochait, right, hashochait sounds like, if you did it, in a diavad, person already slaughtered hayava of Yom Tov, what do you do? Right? That's what it does sound like, but you cannot say that because the later end of the Mishnah, as I'll point out as we get there. So rather, what does it mean? It means over here that if a person is coming to slaughter an animal and he asks you, can I slaughter this animal right now? Can I slaughter this haya? Can I slaughter this bird on Yom Tov? How do I do so? So Bet Shammai Omrim, Yahpor Badekar Vichaseh. Go ahead, dig with your shovel and cover it. And we'll see exactly what he means in a moment. Bet Hillel Omrim, Lo Yishchot. Because it says, no, you cannot slaughter this animal if you don't have, dirt prepared. Unless he had dirt that was set aside and prepared. Now, Modim, they agree, she'im shahat, if he already slaughtered it, right, that's why you can't explain the first part of the Mishnah that it was already slaughtered, because that's the second case. She'im shahat, if he slaughtered it, she'achpor badekar v'chaseh, right, that you could go ahead and literally, I'll translate, dig with the shovel and cover. Now, what are these conditions that Bet Shammai would also need to lechatechila, and Bet Hillel would say the di'avad, if he slaughtered, you could go ahead and use your shovel to cover the dirt. It still needs to be with these two conditions. And what are they? One is that you need to have the shovel needs to be stuck into the ground earlier, right? And the dirt was moved, right? You're not actually digging, right? Because you already dug it out from beforehand, and that shovel is stuck into the ground. And the second one is that the dirt is very loose, right? So when you go ahead and pull it out, it doesn't cause a hole. Right? Those are the two conditions that Bet Hillel would need, or Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel would need, in this instance. If a person is asking from the outset, according to Bet Hillel, can I slaughter? The answer is no. Unless what? Unless you had it prepared on the side from beforehand, right, in a separate area from Erev Yom Tov, only then would you be allowed. Okay, now the Mishnah continues. Veshe'efer hakira muchan. And also that the ashes of the oven is also considered prepared. That's also considered non-muktzeh. You could also use that to cover for kisui hadam. Right now, it can't be over here that we're saying, oh, and they also agree that the ashes are something that's considered prepared or non-muktzeh, because we never mentioned it before. It wasn't mentioned in the first half of the Mishnah. So rather, what is it talking about? This is a totally new topic, and that is that you are allowed to use ashes from an oven to do kisui hadam. And also, this is on condition that that the ashes were prepared, they were there from Erev Yom Tov. It can't be that you lit up a firewood on Yom Tov that you used for cooking, and then you go ahead and use those that log that turned into ashes on Yom Tov. That you cannot use. Why? As we mentioned last Mishnah, it's also considered nolad. That's also something that is now newly created entity on Yom Tov that you cannot use. But if it was something that you had ashes from before Yom Tov, then you are allowed to go ahead and use these ashes. Um, Unless I would just point out, we said it's nolad. You're not allowed to use it if it's nolad, if these ashes were newly created today, unless it's really boiling hot. If it's really boiling hot, that you can actually roast an egg on it, right? Then if because you're allowed to use it for cooking, then you could also use it for covering the ashes. But in general, right, if it's not that hot, then you need to have the ashes prepared from beforehand to cover to this kisui hadam, right? So to sum up, if someone, according to Bet Hillel, comes and says, "Can I go ahead and slaughter this animal in Yom Tov?" No, the answer is no, unless you have dirt on the side in a pile that's not muktzeh, or if you had ashes, right, that you could go ahead and use for kisui hadam. If he already slaughtered, then Bet Hillel would say, okay, let's see. Do you have a dirt with that's already there's a shovel in there and it's already very loose dirt? Then you can go ahead and use it. If not, then you cannot be mechaseh. That's it. You can't do it. You can't go ahead and cover this blood, and you can't perform this mitzvah of kisui hadam at all.